Hi everyone, my name is Giancarlo Pena. I'm an adaptive PE specialist at Santa Ana Unified School District. Today, the concept of this presentation is to hopefully help you create simple videos to provide for your students while we're teaching virtually. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go into our Google Slides. Now, the one concept that you're going to need is equipment. Now I'm going to first demonstrate to you a couple of videos that we've done through iMovie with our channel Santa Ana APE, and then we're going to go into the actual iMovie and create a video of our own, okay? So the first thing is equipment. Now many people have asked me, do you need a professional camera? No. All you need is a phone that has a camera that can go up to at least 4K at 24 frames per second. Now, many people might ask me why. Well, the reason why is because YouTube likes to compress your videos whenever you're uploading it to YouTube. Now, why does it do that? Because the fact that your file has become so large through whatever editing software that you use, that they kind of want to compress it to allow the loading time not to be slow. So they recommend for every video to be at least a 4K at 24 frames per second. Now, some of you want to know if, can I do it at 30 or 60? You can, but you run to the chance that your video may end up very fizzled, kind of very blurry, because of the fact that the YouTube is trying to compress so much into that video that it's not going to look as good quality as you may think. So the recommendation is 4K at 24 frames per second. And if you ever want to record slow motion, 1080p at 240, and because it's going at a much slower rate, it's requiring more pixels. That's why it's going at 240 frames per second. All right. Okay, so the next one is green screen and phone stands. That's the most important part whenever we're recording anything with a green screen. Now, green screen with the stands, from what we've looked at, goes anywhere between $80 to $130, give or take. The recommended size is you always want to have around 8 feet by 10 feet. The reason why is because you're going to be moving around. You're also going to be going forward, backwards, right to left. So you want to make sure you have enough room in order to provide any type of content you're giving out in your videos. Now, the one important thing that you don't want is a paper style material. Those are very simple fabrics where you can buy it for about $30. You don't want to go that route. If this is something you really want to invest in, you got to invest the money in a little bit. And $80 to $130 is kind of the best thing you can get for what you're looking for. Now, phone stands. Phone stands, you want to go at least 51 inches. I've seen some that go about 60, and that's perfectly fine because you always want to record it in a landscape mode, which we'll discuss in a little bit. Now, those prices goes anywhere between $20 to $34.99. Depending on your height, you want to just go, if you're between 5'5" and 5'10", you can go from a 43 to a 51. But if you're above 6 feet, you want to try to get at least 51 inches or at least 60. And then both links, I'll be sending them later, gives you kind of the best areas of where you can get for Amazon with your iPhone stand, and also for Amazon for a green screen. That goes around that same price range. Now, how do we record our videos? That's a very important part of this. We always want to record in horizontal camera, never in vertical camera. The reason why is because it's called a landscape mode. You want to, whenever you're recording something and you're looking at something on YouTube, everything is recorded on full screen. But if you only record it on vertically with the phone, basically what it's going to do, it's going to just basically only show that portion, and the rest of the screen is going to be completely black. So if you want a full screen for everyone to see, you want to make sure it's always in horizontal or landscape mode. Now, also the other important part is lighting. Lighting is absolutely crucial when it comes to green screen. I have a link here on this video. It's about 9 minutes long, kind of explains to you the reason, the benefits, what is a light screen, what is a dark screen, what is bad lighting, good lighting. The one part though is you want to make sure that the back part of your green screen is very flat as you possibly can. No more, like not that much wrinkles. And the reason why you're going to have if you have a lot of wrinkles on your green screen, it may get the filter might not be as high quality as it should be. And I have a video that I'm going to show you later with the iMovie that doesn't have a good lighting, and I'm going to explain why and so forth. Okay, so this is the demonstration of bad lighting. So if you do buy an external light, you don't want to record it on the floor. The reason why is because what happens is so when you put the green screen in the background, they look at what area has the most light. And so the computer thinks like, oh, okay, this area has the most light, so we're going to showcase that area or that video, the backdrop, on that specific light. So if you have a lighting like this versus bad lighting, all of your video backdrop is going to be here, and all of this is going to be completely black. But if you get lighting that equates to the entire area of the green screen, then the whole backdrop is going to go show from all the way to the top to all the way to the bottom. Now, these lightings, they can go anywhere between $50 to $120. I would honestly recommend you to get a very simple lighting, maybe two small lights that kind of go to the center, because the center area is normally where you're going to be on the green screen. You're not going to be kind of to the left or to the right. More than likely, you're going to be around the middle. So you want to get just two simple lights. Lumi lights would be recommended because they're LEDs, and those go anywhere between $30 to $50 on Amazon. Now, let's say you don't want to use a green screen and you were teaching outdoors at a park or near a pool or at a beach because, you know, the sound of the oceans and stuff. Well, what happens with your videos is when you're recording with so much background noise, your voice is going to get minimized. The reason why is because we do not, humanly, we're not tend to scream and yell loudly or louder than the background noise. So we always recommend to get a microphone if you're ever to do something outdoors. And I have a selected few of top 21 wireless microphones, anywhere that goes between $30 to $60. So this is going to be a link here for you to use. Now, there's two options on your microphone. One is called a closed recording. Now, what that does, it enhances, you plug in the microphone on your phone, and then basically what you do is if you're having a short view camera, so as if it's like someone is recording me from here, I would just basically have a communication with my phone, but the microphone is going to enhance my voice. Another ones are further recording. So if you're like 15 to 20 feet away from your phone, whoever's recording you, then you're going to want to have a wireless microphone because the wire can only reach so far, and then you don't ever want to get tangled with it. So you want to make sure you want to have a wireless. So if you're at close range, you're more than welcome to get a wired microphone, but if you're further away, we would always recommend to get a wireless one. Okay, resources. Now, if we're continuing back into the green screen, if you want to get cool backgrounds, right? There has been, I've gotten some emails where they said, wow, where did you get that motion capture? And I'll explain what motion capture is in a second. What motion capture video that you got in the background, which basically what it means is it's a background that moves consistently. It's not a straight draw picture. It's a motion capture. It's completely motion. It continues to move as you're acting within the film. So what I do is if I want to get a straight backdrop where it has no movement, I normally go to Google Images. The main search that I go into Google Images or YouTube, I'll explain YouTube in a second, is either free background or free backdrop as my first two words. Now you can put, let's say you wanted to do a gym, you can put free background gym pictures, and then you just basically pick out of which one you like. The one important part of this though, is when you're going into images, you want to make sure the images are at least 720p or 720 by 480. The reason why is because you don't want to get a really blurry picture. If yourself is going to be in high quality and the background picture is going to be low quality, it's not going to be a really good look on the video. So you want to make sure that the quality of the picture is high, so that way it kind of equates to whatever it is you're recording for yourself, okay? Now, For a motion capture backdrop, this is the solution that I've gone to. I go to YouTube Video Downloader, and I basically have this as a link. You click this, it takes you straight over to a free YouTube download. And then once you click that, all you have to do is copy the URL of the YouTube or whatever, you would do the same thing, free backdrop video. And you would just select which one is your favorite. I picked two of mine that we're going to show in the iMovie in a second. And then once you do that, you're going to just, where it says convert, copy the URL here. It's going to pop up and you just click convert video, and it's poof, going to pop right into your desktop. And that's it. That's all you have to do. It already converts to MP3 for you, the format and the whole settings. It does it all on its own, and it's absolutely free. I highly recommend it. So that is the one thing I would do, is to download YouTube Video Downloader and make sure that you type in free backdrop or free background video on YouTube. If it's on Google Images, you put in free backdrop or free background images of the specific thing that you're looking for. Okay. All right. So now, what is iMovie? Because for some of you may think, well, what is iMovie? Well, first off, the cool thing about iMovie is that it's free. If you have a Mac with you, whether it's a MacBook Air, a Pro, a desktop, or even an iPad, they're all included within your softwares of your tablets or computers. All right, so that's the first thing. The people may think, oh, well, like an iMovie, it's free, so probably the software is not that great. No, no, no. The software is still very, very good. Now, we're not creating here, movies here, but at the same time, it still allows you to create very efficient and effective videos to provide for your students. And that's the most important aspect of all this, okay? So you always have to think of iMovie the way you think of teaching. What you implement in it, what you put into it, is basically what you're gonna get out of your lesson. So if you really want to be thematic and really want to be cool, then find really cool backdrops and dress up, get thematic into it. If you kind of just want a very simplistic video, the way you would want to do a very simplistic lesson, then that's basically how it's going to come down to. So it's the quality of your time and effort is basically going to be the quality of your video. That's the whole concept of this. Okay. All righty. So this PowerPoint slide will be sent on the syllabus, and hopefully you'll be able to get it and kind of correlate with whatever we're doing with the film. Now we're going to go into the actual iMovie and how to use it and how to work on it and everything. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen. We're going to go into iMovie now. All right. Okay, so this is the beginning part of iMovie. Now, people might be asking, how did you get to this part? Well, all you would do is that there's going to be a plus sign. I don't want to get into it right here because there's a couple of other projects I have, but you would just click the plus sign. It's very simple. It's going to tell you either make movie or make trailer. You want to make sure you click the make movie because then it allows you to create whatever it is you want to do. Create trailer has specific areas that you can only create. So like a certain clip or a certain picture, and then they have all these different fonts and so forth. But you want to make sure you click make movie, okay? All right, so now that we're here, first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna teach you how to create a green screen. Now, I explained earlier that I found 2 free backdrops on YouTube. I did the same concept, downloaded from YouTube Downloader and so forth, and these are my 2 YouTube videos. So as you can see on the right-hand side on this video, notice how the cloud is moving. That's called a motion capture. So basically anything on the backdrop that moves kind of gives you that little cool effect, that little extra effect that you want in your videos. All right, here's another one. So I found a football one, and I might be wanting to do a football exercise. So notice how the field moves and also the cloud moves. Okay, so that's also called a motion capture. All right, and if you want to make a very simple video with information, I've also put that here. We're going to do that in a second. But first, we're going to start on into the green screen. Now, before we do any movie, what we want to make sure is we have a title. We have to have some type of image that shows to the kids, hey, this is what we're going to be learning today. So I found this backdrop on Google Images. I just basically typed in free background gym, and I saw this picture that I liked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, and I'm going to drag this down, just like that. Now, what this part is, I'm going to kind of go into in a second. If I ever wanted to look at what's the length of my film or my clip or my picture or whatever, I go to this eye. And once I click this eye, it's going to show me how long or the duration of my picture or my video is. Now, if I know that my title, I don't want it to be too long, I'm just going to leave it at that. But for other stuff, we'll go into it. But if I don't want a big title, I'm just going to go into 3 seconds. And notice how my clip kind of minimized. So I'm going to go here now to titles, if you can see my arrow. And then, so what iMovie does, it gives you a baseline, a variety of options for you to choose from. Normally what I like is I kind of like this one. It's called the expand, or I always want to try to find something middle because it's the title of your video. It's huge, a big deal. You always want to make it in the middle. So you just put the title here. Ooh, now my title is really long. What do? You have 2 options. So one, you can go here, you can drag, and here we go. Just notice how I go down and basically I sync to this. Now, if I don't want to do that, and I'm just like, oh, it's going to take too long. Maybe the video is like, this title is too long. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go back to the eye. And I'm going to do the same thing, 3 seconds, like I did before. And bam, pops you right into equal areas of the beginning and the end of that picture. Okay, so let's say we're doing, we're just going to title this, I don't know, let's see, we title this exercise. Okay, now I'm like, this is a really cool background, but I'm scared that my font is gonna, it's too blendy. So I'm gonna highlight this, and then this is where the box comes in. The box allows me to choose any color I want. So let's just go with yellow. Lakers won the championship, so we should do it in honor of them. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I just click into the box, and boom. And if I still think it's a little bit too blendy, I'm just gonna pop a little bold in there. Now it should kind of show a little bit, more of that. And if I think, okay, it's a little bit too small, I want to make it a little bit bigger. Oh, let's go 234. Oh, that's a good size. All right, perfect, right there. So now we have our title for our video. So now what this line over here, if you can see my arrow, what this line is basically called a separation. It allows us to separate our segments of the clips or videos that we're providing. If it's a title, it kind of segues over to a new title. So this is the area where it tells you, hey, this is the end of one thing to leading to the beginning of something else, okay? So now we're gonna go into media. Now, this is where I was telling you about the lighting and also the wrinkly part of the green screen. I recorded a bad one, which I'm gonna show you right now. So this is my 4-minute one. Now, normally, I don't like to have a lot of sound in the background, as you can see. So that kind of bothers me a little bit. So what I'm just gonna do is, you have 2 options with this. You can have the line here and drop it down to 0, or let's go back to 100. And you're gonna see this volume button. You see where it says volume. And you're just gonna drop this down to 0. Or, very simple, you just click the mute button. That's it, back to 0, okay? Now, if I'm looking at this, and I'm clicking it, and I click space, I notice that like, the movement's not, like, it's just very choppy. So I'm like, okay. Well, what I'm gonna do is a thing called transition. Transition allows a good blend from one clip or one picture to another clip or another picture, all right? My favorite one is cross dissolve because it allows you to smoothly blend from one picture to the next. So I'm gonna click here, drag and drop. Notice how this separated, because why? Notice how that bar in the middle of it, notice is, oh, okay, this is either a transition or because it's a separation of clips. So what I'm gonna do here is it drops it here. Now I notice that this part, remember, we can drop back to that part. And so when I go, it smooths into the next clip, which is awesome. That's my favorite thing of all this. Now, when you're doing a green screen, the one thing you do not want to do is drop your green screen video first, okay? So that's a quick note. So we're gonna delete this first. Now I'm gonna click, I like this video a lot, so I'm gonna go back into this. Notice how my transition is still there, which is amazing. So if I still clicked it, it smooths into that video clip. Now I'm gonna drop my video on top. Reason why, when you have a green screen, you are the front view of the image. The green screen background is the back view of the image. That's why the green screen is always behind you. So when I go to this part right over here where it says video overlay settings, you're going to be going into green and blue screen. All right. Now, when you click on that, the image should right away appear in the background. So when you click it, boom, pops in there. Now, there's a little bit of choppiness, and I'll explain it to you in a little bit. So the way we want, if I'm looking at, oh man, but my living room's still showing. So I'm going to look at these 4 circles on the corners, and then I'm going to go from there to there and make sure we're trying to match as best as possible away from our original background. Now, there's our background image. This is how the video looks. Now, I'm like, wow, this is a little bit too, I can still see some wrinkle stuff over here. So this is called a softness. Softness allows the green screen and your image to kind of go blend even more. So I'm gonna blend it as much as I can, which is good. Or if you go on the other side, then it actually shows all the really bad areas. So softness, you wanna go as full, like as much as you can. Now the cleanup. Cleanup was basically this square is converting the whole background into the green screen. But now I'm noticing that this part, I'm still not liking it. So if I go to the erase area, this is called erase, it's gonna show a little erase section. I can click on this part and it doesn't appear, but notice how now I'm blending more on the softness. So I'm gonna wanna kind of go back on that a little bit. Or I can go here, but then the top part's showing. The reason why is if I show you this, notice how there's a lot of wrinkles on the bottom left of it. The image is really good on the top, but the wrinkles are really on the bottom. Also, a key note, I have a green screen that goes from the flat part of the wall all the way to the floor. So because my image, remember, because my image is brighter on the floor, that means that the image is going to be more enhanced from the bottom section of the green screen. So if I'm going to delete that, I'm going to go now into a more, notice how my green screen is kind of more top layer, doesn't really show the bottom area. So I'm going to go into this part and, volume, remember, we're going to put that on low. And we're going to do the same thing. Remember, we're going to do the video overlay setting because you are the front part of the image. Green screen is the back part of the image. So we're going to click green screen. There we go. All right, so now we do the same thing. Go back into our 4 lines. It's a little tricky. Now, if you don't care if your feet are showing because you're mainly doing an upper body workout, then that's great. You can cut even more of it or not. It's your choice. But for this part of the video, we're just going to show, okay, so this part, it's looking good, but I'm just going to click this. Ooh, looks good. Not bad. Or if I go on the bottom, but it looks a lot better than what the other video showed because there's a lot of wrinkles and also I have a bottom layer showing instead of just the top layer. All right, so we have our background, we have our images. This looks really cool, looks awesome. Now I'm noticing like it's taking me a long time to go from one end to the other. Well, this arrow right here which says settings, you're basically gonna move this and it's going to compress the size of your video. See, now I can go from beginning to end at a much faster rate. But, oh no, I realized that my image is let's see what the length is. We're gonna go to I. It's only 21 seconds, but My whole video is 52 seconds. So what do we do at that part? Well, it's very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to click Command C on your keyboard. That means copy, okay? Now we're going to do another transition. Well, actually, let's wait for the transition later. We're going to do this part right here, and we're going to drop. Command V. V as in Victor, it's copy and paste. Okay, so now I have my video here. And I'm going to do another video, Command V, Command C, Command copy, and then Command paste. Now I'm noticing that my clip is a little bit too long, so we're going to drag back to where this is. All right. Now, once we do that, I'm noticing though that as I'm doing my clip, notice on the top part, it's very chippy. It kind of like goes into a brand new clip, see? So if you notice it again, it's very chippy again. So I'm like, well, this is where you need to transition. So we're gonna go back to cross dissolve. That's my preference because it allows you to smoothly blend from one video to the next. So we're gonna cross dissolve this one. We're gonna cross dissolve the other one. And then now you can see it's a lot smoother. Okay, and then if you click on the next one, it's a lot smoother, all right? So that is basically how you would do a green screen video for yourself, for your kids and everything else. Now, if I wanna have, if I'm doing, like for instance, I'm doing bicep curls, and if I wanna have a title of it. So notice remember how it's saying that if you have your title at the beginning of your video, you want to have it in the center. You want to have it make sure to shine, to show. Well, I'm now in the center of the movie, and I want my kids to see what I'm doing instead of seeing the actual skill set. So now what we're going to do is you're going to look for a bottom section title. See how these titles are on the bottom left? You also have them on the bottom right. So it's a preference of whatever you want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag and drop. We're going to just do it on the right side. Notice how it shows there. So we're this one, we're just going to do bicep curls. And so I can lengthen this as much as I want. So if for as long as we're doing the film, it shows there we're doing a bicep curl during the entire time. If I want to get another one, I'm noticing I'm doing tricep. Let's go over here. And we're about to start. Okay, so we're going to drag it over to this area. And here I'm going to click tricep extensions. So notice how once I go into this part, it goes into my tricep extensions. So I click space for play. And there you go. All right. So that is basically how you use a green screen image, green screen background into your iMovie. All right. Now, the most important part, once you're done with the filming, you're going to see in this top right corner, you're going to click that. It's like a square with an arrow pointing up. And you're going to click export file. What it does is you click export file, tells you what the quality of the film is. You always want to go up to 1080p. That's the most important part. Remember, we're trying to get YouTube to compress the least amount of quality of our film. So we want to get a higher quality. So we get 1080p. And then you always want it to be at the best ProRes. That's where you always want to leave it. Now your quality is always going to, the size of your film or your video is always going to be anywhere between 1.5 to maybe about 3 gigabytes in your memory. So here you just, I put AP presentation, the description of it automatically goes into it. You click next, and then it automatically starts converting that video into your desktop. Once you're doing your desktop, then you convert it into YouTube, okay? All right, I'm gonna show you one last quick thing before we go. Let me just exit all this stuff. Oh, actually, I click Command Z to go back to it. Now, we want some music. Probably, you know, we're into it. Now, many people are asking, well, how can we use the music? What I've come to learn is basically, I would click a variety of songs that I like. I'll maybe pick between 5 or 6. Once I click 5 or 6, then I see which songs I'm allowed to use going into YouTube. So it basically kind of gives you that cheat sheet, like, well, these are the songs you can use, these are the songs you can't. So you notice on the bottom, it says 690 files are unplayed and unavailable. That means either through the contract of the industry or the music, they are not allowed, or we are not, I'm sorry, we are not allowed to use their music during our videos. But I like Castle on the Hill. It's an instrumental version I found. So I'm just gonna drag and drop. Okay. So notice that you can hear the music. I'm gonna lower this a little bit because we're doing a presentation. Now, I'm in the middle of this, and I know that, like, well, I have this whole song left over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right to where the gray section is, and I'm gonna click it, and then I'm just gonna right click with my mouse, and then there's a thing called split clip. Split clip allows you to split a specific clip or sound that you're using. So I'm gonna split it. So notice how it splits right at the line of when I finish my movie, which is great. So I take that out, and then there you go. That is the beginning and end point of my film, okay? So that gives you the access for green screen, the backdrop, the sound, the title, and the transitions all within one clip, all right? Now we're gonna do this real quick. Before we go, we're just gonna exit all this stuff. But we're gonna keep the background, the title of it. Now, I go back to my media. Now, my media is, I pick a couple of videos that I'm just kind of doing randomly. And what I do is I'm gonna put a description. This is a description of a film that we've done on our channel. So I'm just gonna drag and drop. Now, notice how the pictures kind of go up and down, but while I'm doing the video, I kind of want the kids to see the whole picture. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna click this, I guess you want to call it a square kind of cutoff area. So Ken Burns, it's basically a kind of a smooth down transition or a smooth up. Notice how the arrow is basically saying, okay, you want this video to go from top to bottom within a certain time frame. But we don't want to do that. We just kind of want it to fit the picture. So we're going to just leave it there. Then I have a couple of videos. So we're just going to put a 7-second clip. Okay, now my picture and my video are on top of each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going back to the video overlay, and then we're going to go to cut. Instead of cutaway, we're going to go to split screen. Now this is what happens with split screen. Voila. What happens with split screen is it allows the viewer to see yourself perform a skill while on the right or left side of your image, of your video platform. It allows them to see instructions. So if you ever want to give them steps on how to do a push-up or a curl up or any type of test or any type of fitness test, you want to have instructions for them. So if you want to ever do that, this stuff, I literally did it through Microsoft Word. I put it through Microsoft Word. Everything was very simple, done. Put the pictures in it, took a screenshot of it, made it into a picture, and then here we are. So it was just, this is the last part I wanted to show you, that if you ever wanted to make a video outside of green screen and you wanted to make it more instructional based for the kids to see whatever it is you're trying to teach them through the video, then that way they can read it. You can convert it into Spanish. So if in case you're reading it, in case you're speaking in English, you can write things down in Spanish for any Spanish viewers and so forth. So let me get out of this screen. Alrighty. Well, I hope this helps you in some way for recording down the line in the future. If you ever need any type of help or resources available, I will have our email available. It is santaana.ape@gmail.com. And if you ever have any other resources or anything like that, you can also look at our YouTube channel at Santa Ana APE on YouTube. All right, well, this concludes our presentation. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and hopefully talk to you soon. Take care.